After writing JAM, what next? Now, this is a question that is currently in the minds of every student that sat for the 2026 JAM exam. And as of when I'm making this video, over 80% of students that sat for the exam have all seen their results. So the big question that is in the minds of every student is that now that I've written my exam, what is the next step to take? How do I not get admission? Because the primary reason why we have been writing WAEC, JAM is to gain admission. So now that you've written the JAM exam, what are the next steps to do, or what are the next steps to take that will give you admission into your school, regardless of what you scored in the exam? So please and please follow me, listen attentively to this video. You are going to understand all the processes without any stress. Now, the first step to take now that you've written your JAM exam and you've seen your result is to just accept that result. Yes, I know the majority of us we put in a lot of effort in this exam, but because of one issue or the other, we're unable to achieve a very good result. You understand? Now, for example, in my online classes, we had students that scored above 300. I'm talking about 300, 290 plus, 280 plus, 270 plus. Why there are some students that did not still do well? Not that they didn't prepare well for this exam, or not that they didn't know what to write in the system, but because of the fact that on that very day, a lot of things happened. So some students, on that day of their exam, their computer was malfunctioning. Some students on that day of their exam, there were some questions that did not have answers. You understand? And those kind of factors played a major role in making most students not to score very high in the exam. But the truth is that nothing can be done. That is just the truth. You've seen your result, What now matters is that how can you now use that result very well that will still give you a very good course. So now that you've seen your result, just accept it. There's nothing like JAM upgrade. You understand? There's nobody in Nigeria that can upgrade your JAM score. And the thing is that even if they are to upgrade your JAM, it's only JAM that has the right to do that. And trust me, I've been teaching for more than 6 years now, and I've not heard that JAM, upgrade students' results. The highest I have seen is that JAM will even remove from the result if JAM notice that your center there was examination malpractice. JAM will even remove from the result because of you to add to it. So it's not possible. Nobody can upgrade your score. Nobody can add to it. Your score is your score, and you should accept it the way it is. That's the first step to take now that you've seen your JAM result. Now, the second step is that make research. What is the cutoff mark of the school that you applied for? For example, now let's say I'm going to a school like Uniben or UI. The cutoff mark for these schools is 200. So if peradventure I wrote my JAM and I scored maybe 201 or 202 or even 200 or even 250 or 280 or 300 plus, it means that I am safe. I can still get admission into that school. But if I see that, okay, I applied for Uniben before or UI and the cutoff mark for that school is 200 and I score 199 or 198 or 160 or 150, then it is sensible enough to know that that school cannot give you admission into that school. Automatically, that school is already disqualified for you. You now have to choose a school that accepts the score that you have. A very good example of schools that accept below 200 is Unidel. I think the cutoff mark for Unidel is around 160 or so. Don't worry, for those of you that are looking for cutoff mark, check my bio. There's a link there. Click on that link, it will take you to my WhatsApp channel. On my WhatsApp channel, I've made a list of all the universities in Nigeria as well as their cutoff mark. You can check it there, check your school there to know if the score you have matches with the cutoff mark of the school you are going into. You understand? So that's the first thing to do. So just first of all, make sure that the school you are going to matches with your score. Like I said, for example, schools like Del Sunan, their cutoff mark is around 160. Schools like Unidel, their cutoff mark is around 180. So if your score is around that range, it means that you are safe. You understand? But if it's not around that range, quickly change or quickly start looking for schools that accept that kind of score that you have. It is very important. Don't there see the truth is that there's no connection that you will do that will make you get admission into a school that your mark is less than their cutoff mark. It's not possible. You have to first of all reach their cutoff mark first before any other thing. Take this from me, it is very important. So please confirm the cutoff mark and make sure that yes, the score you have matches with the cutoff mark of the school. Now, the third step to make, now this one is a very important step, is to ask yourself, now that you've seen your JAM result or your JAM score, what's the possibility of getting that course that you applied for as your first choice? For example, now, let's say I'm going for, let me use medicine and surgery as an example, and medicine cutoff mark or medicine, for you to get medicine in a federal university, you need to score at least 270, 280, 290, 300 plus. You understand? So if peradventure now, I now saw my result and I now saw 250, you have to be honest with yourself. You have to just be honest with you and ask yourself, I've seen 250 as my JAM score. what is the possibility of me getting this course in this school? Now, for federal university, like I said before, if your JAMB score is not above 270, just forget about medicine. For law, if your JAMB score is not above, let's say, 240, 250, just forget about law in a federal university. You understand? So not that you have 160 in JAMB or 190 in JAMB, your eye will still be in medicine. It's not possible. It's not possible. Just be honest with yourself. You understand? But if your score, if for example now your JAMB score is already around the range I just mentioned, for example, now let's say you are going for a federal school and you're a commercial student, and let's say the cut mark of the school that you are going for is 200, and you score maybe 210, 220, and you're a commercial student, it means that yes, you can still get courses like economics and statistics, banking and finance, accounting, those kind of marketing. You can still get those kind of courses because why? Your JAMB score is still closer to what? To those courses. You understand? So please, that's the third thing to do. Be honest with yourself. Can the score you have get you the course you want? If that's not the case, then consider changing. For example, now, in my years of teaching and helping students get admission, there are what 3 categories of courses in Nigeria. We have what the high-end courses, we have what the mid courses, and we have the low-end courses. When we say high-end courses, we mean that these courses, they are very high in demand. Everybody wants to study it. You understand? For example, now all this medicine, nursing, pharmacy, dentistry, mass comm, law, all these courses are what the high-end courses. Why they are courses that are known as what the middle courses or the average courses. For example, now if you're a science student, examples of average courses now are what? For example, as a medical student, example of average courses, we have what? Physiotherapy, we have optometry, we have radiography, we have public health. All these are what? They are still good courses, but they are not high end. They are what? Average. You understand? They are average. While we also have low end courses. For example, as a science student, those low end courses now, we have biochemistry, we have microbiology. You understand? All these are what? Low end courses. We have agriculture. You understand? So it's not left for you to what? For you to decide. For example, like I said before, if you are going for what? For high end courses like all these, the medicine and law and the rest, if your JAMB score is not above at least 250, 260, 270, you're going for a federal school. Federal school, because most of you here, you are federal, most of you apply for federal universities. You are going for a federal school. Consider changing to what? To an average course. For example, now if you are going for law before and your JAMB score is not high, even if you make the school's cutoff mark, your JAMB score is not high, you can just consider changing to what? To an average course. So instead of law, you can consider going for what? For international studies and diplomacy, or political science, or mass communication. All these are still what? Average courses. Or you can even decide to go lower. You understand? For example, now if you can decide to go lower as an art student and study maybe a course like let me say international relations, history. You understand? All these are low-end courses they can easily get admission into. So you have to be very, very smart about this thing, and don't just be realistic to yourself. Just be true to yourself. It is very, very important. Another thing you need to consider is that after seeing your JAMB result, is that ask yourself, this, for example, now let's say you've met the school's cutoff mark. Let's say your school cutoff mark is 180 and you score 191 or 200. You made the school. Ask yourself, the next thing you ask yourself is that this school that you are about to apply for now, how do they give admission? Do they use only JAMB to give admission, or they use JAMB and WAEC, or they use JAMB, WAEC, and another exam called post-UTME? Ask yourself these questions. For example, now if you are going for a school like LASU does not write post-UTME. LASU only uses your WAEC results and your JAMB results. So meaning that if your WAEC result is strong, let's say you have a lot of A's and B's in your WAEC or your NECO or GC or whatever, and your JAMB is still okay. Let's say you score above like 220, 230, 240. Together, you are good to go as far as LASU is concerned. But this is a school like Unilag now, JAMB is there, your WAEC result is there, and you will still write an exam called post-UTME exam. So you can see that you are using these 3 criteria that you need to get to a school like what? Like Unilag. You understand? If you are going for a school like, let me say, Unidel now, they only need your JAMB, and they will need you also write an exam inside the school, and that exam is called post-UTME. So it's both your JAMB and post-UTME that will combine together to what, to give you admission. A school like AAU now, for example, now they need just your Jamb results and your WAEC, NECO, or GC results combined together. They give you admission. A school like Uniben now and UI, they need only your Jamb, and you still write an exam in the school called what, post-UTME exam. So they will divide your Jamb, divide your post-UTME, add the two together, then give you admission. You understand? So you can see that different schools have the way they give their admission. So you have to also what, consider these things after you've written your Jamb exam. So if you know that your school now, you are going for a school like Unidel or Uniben or Unilag or UI, you should already know that you are supposed to be preparing for post-UTME at this time, because post-UTME is going to still help you. If your Jamb score is not too high and you are able to get very, very high in post-UTME, then you can still get admission. You understand? For all those schools I just mentioned. But let's say you're going for a school like LASU now, and maybe your Jamb score is still manageable, but you now have a good O-level result with A's and B's. You can still get admission. Together, you can still enter. You understand? So you have to consider all these things. It's not something that you see. Admission is not something that you rush. It's something that you have to calm down and do it well, so that you don't make any mistake. You understand? So make research about your school. One way to make research about your school is to ask people that are already in that school and ask people that have experience on how schools admission work. For example, now I've been in the game for more than 5 years. If you check my page now, the pin post in my page, you see my students, admission testimonies from different schools. Even their matric pictures are there. What does that tell you? When it comes to this game, I have a very what? I've been here for long. So I know the criteria for all universities, and that is why I have what knowledge about all schools and how their admission process work. You understand? So please and please, you have to be very, very careful. Consider what the school and how they give admission. You understand? Then you now will decide whether you will still continue with the school. That's if you meet up with the school's cut-off mark, or if you will change to another school. For some of you now, you will decide that, oh, my Jamb score is not too high. Let me just go for a school that writing post-UTME so that I can add it to my Jamb score, boost it, and enter school. Some of you be like, I beg, I don't want to write post-UTME myself. My own level is good, my own level is very strong. Let me just go for a school that, that only accepts O-level and Jamb, so that when they combine the two together, I will enter school. It's now up to you. You understand? So that is it. Now, another thing again you should ask yourself when you're applying for a school is that, ask yourself, be sincere to yourself. Can you really get that your desired course in that school? Because there are some schools that their admission process is very tough. I won't lie to you. There are schools that to get admission there is not easy. Especially federal school, because in federal school you see people that score as high as 350, 360, 330 applying for a course that you that have 202 want to still apply for. So you can see that, and normally the school will give those ones, those Odogu that score 330, 340, they will give those admission first when they come to you. So if let's say for example you applied for the same course with those people, by the time they finish giving those ones, maybe before they get to your turn, because the portal or the quota is filled up for that particular course, then at the end of the day you might end up losing admission, or they might just throw you into another course that is far from what you applied for. So be honest with yourself. If you are going for, I'm more concerned about those that are going for federal school, because private schools, admission is not really, really that hard in private school compared to federal schools. You understand? So if you know that you have to be very, very observant. Ask yourself, for example, now you have friends. Let's say for example now you have like 4 friends now, and those your friends score 330, and you now you score maybe like 202 or 205. You already know that those ones they are already ahead of you in terms of Jamb score. So you just have to be honest with yourself. Either you decide to risk it, or more advisable, just change to a lower course. If, for example, if you are going for medicine, I told you before, and let's say your Jamb score is not above 270, like I said before, 280 or 290, you can just gradually just switch to a lower course. Just choose maybe like a course like anatomy or physiology. You understand? Just all those kind of, or medical biochemistry. Just enter that one first, your pen there first. If everywhere goes as planned, if everything goes as planned, you cannot decide to write Jamb again the following year. That one is now up to you. But first of all, just try and have a safe landing into a course first. Just settle down for there first before any other thing. It is very, very important. A word is enough for the wise. And lastly, if you make your research and you discover that your school is writing post-UTME, then start preparing for the post-UTME exam, because the earlier the better. See, post-UTME and Jamb is not the same thing. In my first Jamb, most of you already know the story. I wrote my first Jamb, I had 292. I felt that I was already biggest in the whole world. I already not feeling like Merlin. I was not like, I beg, what's post-UTME I cannot pass until I wrote the exam, my brothers and sisters. I was supposed to, the cut-off mark for medicine for as at then my set was 75. So after the whole exam and I had 72, I was 3 marks below the cut-off mark, and that was why I could not get it that year. Because of post-UTME, my jam score was high, 290 something, 292. But post-UTME, did not favor me because I did not prepare well for it. I was feeling that if I passed jam, what post-UTME I cannot pass, not knowing that I need to study really, really hard for post-UTME. And but I entered school then. I think I got medical biochemistry. I finished it, had my degree in medical biochemistry, then came back again, wrote jam again, and now I'm in medicine. You understand? The thing is that post-UTME is very, very important, and you need to start preparing for it as soon as possible. Get your your post-UTME past question for the school you are going for. School, like I said, if you are going for school like Uniben, in fact, if you want me to, if just what you guys do for me is that just write out the course, your jam score, the school you applied for, and the course you are going for, and I'll let you know if your school writes post-UTME or they do screening, and your chances of getting admission into that school based on your jam score, your course, and the school you applied for. So just do that. Drop your jam score, drop your course, and drop the school you applied for. I'm going to let you know if it's easy for you to get admission there, or if you do what change. You understand? And lastly, talking about changing. Now take note that changing of course has not started yet. You understand? And I will never advise, even if the change of course starts on time, I will never advise you to even change immediately. You understand? You have to make research. This is university. This is where you are going to spend the next 3 to 4 years of your life in. So you need to make research, ask questions. You understand? For example, now when I was writing jam, what I did was, when I was preparing for my own, I was about to enter school then. What I did was that I went on Facebook, I searched the name of my school. Yes, and I saw a lot of groups there. I joined those groups. Facebook, I'm talking about Facebook groups. So I joined those groups, and when I joined those groups, I started asking questions on the group. And when you ask questions, you're going to see students, lots of students. They will be there to answer you and let you know more things about the school. You can also message me, and I'm going to enlighten you on the school. But as you also message me, do your own personal research, because you are the one that want to study the course, not me. You understand? I'm only here to guide you based on my experience, but you still have to also do your own research. You get it is very, very important. It is a 50-50 percentage. I'll give you 50%, you do the remaining 50%. But the primary goal is to enter school. You understand? So like I said, change of course I not started. Once it starts, I'll let you know. But before then, do all the necessary research and conclude before you will do a change of course. So you don't do change of course and later you not say, oh, let me change again or let me change again. No. Do your proper research before you would make any move. This is what very, very important. And lastly, take note that our post-UTME class is started already. If you're interested, just send me a message on WhatsApp and go to add to our post-UTME class and you start learning. You understand? There's no time to waste. Admission this year is going to be very, very fast. And if you don't start paying on time, even after scoring very high in jam, you might not stay in that school. It is not that I'm saying anything bad to you. It's just how life works. The earlier, the better. That's all for now, guys. See you in my next video. Bye bye. And ensure you follow me because I'm making more videos like this from now to enter school. Bye bye.